Hello folks, Eric here again. And once again, I'd like to welcome you to our Thrifty Survivor YouTube channel. Now what I'm going to do for you today is kind of a follow-up on the previous video where I asked for suggestions as far as what type of items you'd like to see reviewed or what type of survival techniques that you'd like to see. And one of my followers, CW Earthen, suggested that I show you how to tie some knots. So that's what I'm going to do for you today. Hopefully I don't tie myself up in a knot, but I'll do my best. Anyway, if you just sit tight, I'll be right back. All right, folks, the first knot I'm going to show you how to tie today is the taut line hitch knot. Sometimes it's called the half hitch or double half hitch, whatever. But anyway, I'm going to show you how to tie the knot, and I'm going to show you one or two other variations to the knot. Maybe to make it just a little bit more secure. So you just sit tight. What I'm going to do is zoom into this a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. So I'll be right back. All right, folks. Now I know I'm out of frame here, but I wanted to get you in close so you can see what I'm doing as far as the knot that I'm going to show you here today, which once again is the taut line hitch knot or the half hitch. Now this was suggested by CW Earthen. He's one of our subscribers. I asked in one of our videos if you have any ideas of something you'd like to see, please let us know. Well, he did. He gave me two ideas, and one was to show y'all how to tie some knots. And I'm not talking about just tying your shoes, you know, just knots that are handy for out in the field, out in survival, camping, whatever. Anyway, now let's get into it. This knot here, once again, I call it the taut line hitch knot. Some call it the half hitch with a bite, which I'll show you that variation as well. Here goes. Now it's real simple. Now actually, first off, what this knot is for is if you want to create tension on the line and you want to be able to adjust the tension, like loose, tighten it up, whatever, for whatever reason. A lot of folks use this knot for a ridge line, for throwing your tarp over, clothesline, hanging gear, whatever. This just makes that process real simple. Now it's real easy. Now most people will do it this way, and actually I'll go ahead and do it this way. Okay, here you go. Basically you run once the main part of the line close to your body, okay, and then what you're going to do, actually I'm going to do it the way I normally do it because I get confused otherwise, okay. All right, I run it on the opposite side of the tree, okay. And then I stand here and I take the loose end of the line and run it through the top here. We call this the rabbit hole. So I run it through the rabbit hole one time through the top of the rabbit hole. Then I do it a second time. Run it through the top. There you have it. And basically, which I hope you can see, you basically have two loops here. Now, the third time, I usually will stick a finger through here and run it through this time on the outside edge. And you can also do this twice if you need even more, more security on your knot there. Now, what this does for you is it allows you to tighten your line up, and it's nice and snug. You can also loosen it up if you need more slack. I'm going to tighten it up real good here for you. All right, pull on that, and it's holding. Okay, now, there's another variation to this, and I'm going to go ahead and untie the knot because I'm going to show you a number of times just to, for it to sink in. If you're anything like me, you need to see things about a half dozen times before it finally sinks in. So, okay, so anyway, once again, I just take the main part or the long part of the rope, run it on the opposite side of the tree from where I'm standing, wrap it around the back side of the tree in this case. It doesn't necessarily have to be a tree, but that's what we're using here. And once again, I have this tied off to another tree, kind of as an example of if I was going to use this as a ridge line for a tarp tent. Okay, anyway, just run it through there. I usually will give it a little bit of a pull, kind of tighten it up a little bit. Anyway, now I reach over the line, grab it, and put it through the rabbit hole. Okay, then I do it once again a second time through the rabbit hole. Okay, all right. Now, one variation would be when you run it through this little section here, which is on the opposite side. It's on the outside of the rabbit hole here. Okay, on this side here. Okay, right here. I'm running it through. I'm going to put a loop in it in this case. Instead of running the end of the line through, I just run a loop through there. Real simple. Okay, pull it snug. Got to pull your loop snug here. All right. Now, what that does, obviously, just like before, the knot will tighten up and it'll hold a ridge line in place. What this does for you is when you're ready to leave, you don't want to have to bother with struggling to untie a knot. I know some types of line are kind of difficult to untie. Well, here, you just pull on that and there, as you can see, it just comes right undone. Okay, piece of cake. One issue with that some people have, and I'm going to go ahead and start over once again, show you all a third time. Okay, once again I go behind the tree, reach over the line, through the rabbit hole once, through the rabbit hole twice, and I'm going to do the same thing here. Instead of running the end through, I run a loop through here. Okay, and I snug that up. And if you don't want anything to cause this to come undone by accident, like a pine cone falling out of the tree or coconut or whatever, knocking this loose, just run a stick through it. Usually you're going to be able to find a stick somewhere. Okay, and there you go. That ain't going to come undone. You still can adjust the you know, how taut it is, holds nice and secure. Another reason for this type of knot is sometimes tree trunk circumference can vary. You might just want to take slack up. You can wrap it around a few times, do the same thing, whatever. But anyway, this knot is real secure. Now, if you don't happen to be in an area where there are sticks, like out in the middle of the desert, first off, in the middle of a desert, you're probably not going to find trees to create a ridge line. However, there are ways of doing that, even using trekking poles. Okay, there are ways, but in the desert, it's rather difficult. But I'm going to go ahead and show you what you could do. You might have already thought of it. If you can't find a stick, or for any reason it's inconvenient, okay, you can always use a beaner. Never would have guessed, right? Anyway, same thing, same principle. It ain't going to come undone that way. And when you're done, you're ready to leave, you just pull that out, and there you go. You're gone. All right, folks, the next knot I'm going to show you how to tie is called a Prusik knot. That's P-R-U-S-I-K. Anyway, a Prusik knot. Now, this is a knot that you can use essentially to basically on a ridge line, for instance, if you want to have a spot where you want to tie something off and keep it from sliding around, but be able to move it left or right, you can do that with this knot. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer to show you what I'm doing, and this is really, really an easy knot, and it's very useful. So just sit tight and I'll be right back. All right, folks, now for the Prusik knot, what you want to do first of all is you want to start off with your Prusik knot is going to be made out of some line that's slightly smaller than your main line that you're going on. So essentially, if you've got, for instance, a ridge line, like what I've kind of created here, you want what you create your Prusik knot with to be a smaller diameter. It'll grip a whole lot better that way. But essentially, all you do, and what I've got here is paracord, and this is just regular utility cord, just to give you an idea. The difference does not have to be that extreme, though. In fact, I've even used it on, where both were the same diameter, and that even works pretty well. But it works better if your main line is larger than what you're creating your Prusik knot with. Anyway, essentially all you do is you take one piece of cordage like this, you make a loop out of it, real simple, You know, tie your little knot here, your regular knot, just like that. I think you can see that. And then all you do is you run this through here once, and then you run it through again, and you make sure they don't overlap on each other, okay? And then you just pull, okay? And you want those loops to go inside there. Now you've got something that you can hang things on. You can hang a backpack or whatever. I mean, obviously a backpack would be a little bit heavy for this setup, but also if you want to use this to tighten something up, such as a ridge line. Sometimes you'll just tie a line through here and then another one up that way, up yonder, and you can, as you can see, I'm pulling on this and it's not moving. It is snug. Now to release it, all you do is you pull on this end and it comes right off, just like that. It's as simple as that. So once again, all I've done is I've tied a loop here on a piece of cordage, which is a little bit smaller diameter than this. Now in this case it's quite a bit smaller diameter, but I'd say anything from the same diameter to smaller diameter than what you're tying it onto. I've used this a lot. I used to fly giant show kites at the beach. Some of you might have seen that type of thing. And I use these knots all the time to tie things onto the line. And like I'd put American flags on it, and I'd put a couple of these to hold the flag at the right angle when it was on the kite line. Anyway, and you know, I did that in really strong winds. In fact, I even hung 100-foot banners online with simple Prusik knots like this in strong winds, and they held. Again, all you do is you can go from either the back side or the front side. It doesn't really matter. Okay, the last time I did it from the front side or well, my back side. Anyway, basically you just run this through twice. Okay, just like that. You can see that. Then I'm going to run it through. Whoop, missed. Then I run it through again. Okay, trying to make it to where you can all see it. Okay, now I've got this situation. I've got, you know, the loop just kind of goes in, you know, basically I did it to where they don't overlap on each other. Then I just pull on this end. Okay, the knot end is what I pull on in this case. Now you can actually do this from either end. You can run the knot end through, or you can run the other end through the knot end. It doesn't really matter. In fact, I'll do it the other way for you. And then all you do is you just give it a good pull. Once you've done that, it's secure. It ain't going to move. It ain't going nowhere, no how. And to loosen it, or actually even just you can slide it up and down without even loosening it. As long as there's tension on this line, it's not going to slide. Real easy. In fact, if you want to even make it more secure, you can just go through 1, 2, or you know, however many times as you want. I've never had a need to do it more than 3 times. And again, I was dealing with some really large banners flying off of a kite line. Now the kites I flew, I used 2,500-pound test line to fly the kites on, just to give you an idea. And I was using simple 250-pound test, I believe, or actually it was 500-pound test, so like 550 cord to hang those banners on. Now, again, like I told you, you can do this either way. I'm going to do it the opposite here. I'm going to run the other end through, and as you'll see, the result is the same. Just pull that through like that. Do it twice. And this time the knot is up here, okay? I usually do it the other way, just personal preference, but it's the same thing. It doesn't matter which end goes through twice. You just run it through twice. Once again, nice and snug. To loosen it, there you are. So that's the Prusik knot for you. Hope you liked it. Now we're going to move on to the next knot. All right, folks, the next knot I have for you is called a lark's head. And this is another really simple knot. What's nice about this knot is it's very useful when neither end of the rope is available. So you can't run one end through or the other end through. For instance, if you have both ends tied off on something, or for instance, I used to use it all the time when I flew kites. Once again, those giant kites. When I would bring the kites in, those kites are so large you can't just reel them in. So what you end up doing is you might have several guys pulling it down, and then you would use a lark's head and secure it to a carabiner, and then start over again and do that however many times it would take to bring the kite down. That's just an example, because you have one end of the kite line tied off somewhere. You don't hold on to the line on those kites or you'll go up with it. And then the other end, of course, is attached to the kite. There's an example. Now, it's real simple. Now, I'm going to use a carabiner here, and there's two ways you can do this. One is basically, this is the line. You just run it through this way. Then you open the carabiner, and this is the way we did it, you know, when we were flying those kites. Those were massive. Anyway, and then that would secure it. And that would hold the kite. I mean, you can pull on either end, and it's solid. I mean, those kites were flying on 2,500 pound test, and this would hold it. Okay, now obviously provided the line can handle it as well as the beaner. Now there's another way of doing this also, and I'm going to go ahead and remove the carabiner for that. And here, I'm going to take it off the easy way. Okay, and let's remove the beaner. Okay, now grab this again. Now once again, as you can see, I don't have either end of the rope. I mean, I just got the middle of the rope here. Okay, here's the carabiner. So I'm going to basically, I'm going to run this through here without opening the carabiner, then run it down this way like that. Okay, so once again, all I'm doing is I'm basically making a little loop, running that loop through the carabiner, back over the carabiner, and there you go. You got your lark's head. That's without opening the carabiner. Now, you can also do a double lark's head, where all you do, you've already got the first one on there, you run it through again, and if you can see, you've got two, it's wrapped around twice. If you really want an even more secure hold, this is just another very simple knot that's very useful. Again, you can actually use this also if you want to attach a carabiner to the middle of a line and hang something off of it. Whatever, it'll hold it. It'll hold it there. And now this is not going to slide up and down the line or anything else. Very, very simple to do. And to loosen it up, sometimes if you had a lot of tension on it, it is a little bit hard, but you basically just pull on this end. It's similar in a way to the Prusik knot, except you don't have either end of the line available here. So you're basically accomplishing the same thing when you don't have either end available. Now, okay, so to remove it, in this case, just like that, just as easy. Now with the carabiner, you don't have to do it that way. You can just clip it through there. Okay? Anyway, I hope that helped. And now, let's move on to the next knot that we have for you. So stick tight, I'll be right back. Alright folks, the next knot I have for you here is the basic square knot. A lot of you probably already know how to tie it, but just in case, it's always worth mentioning. Okay, and it's real simple. This is designed to attach two ends of line together. They could be either two separate lines or one line just attaching both ends together. Either way, this knot will work for you. And it's real simple. Now this is my right hand and this is my left hand, okay? The reason I mention that is the first thing you do is you take right over left, okay? And then you just pull that through. Now it's the opposite. This is my left hand. You take left over right, okay? And then you end up with this. and that will attach both ends together. Now I'm going to run you through that one more time. Just want to make it clear. It's real simple, okay? All right, now you could do the opposite actually. You can do left over right, and then right over left. You end up with the same thing, okay? Essentially, all you do is one time you take one over the other, and then once you bring it back around, then it's the other end over the other. So it's that simple. So once again, in this case, right over left, bring it around, left over right. All right, and once again, let's do the opposite. Left over right. Oops, sorry about that. And then right over left. Same thing. And again, those will hold firmly together. That's your square knot. All right, now let's move on to the next knot. And I'll be right back shortly. All right, now let's tie the fisherman's knot. Now it's a real simple knot, and it's designed to attach two separate pieces of line together. Now all you do is you take one piece of line and run it back over the other, and then back this way. Just a simple knot. Then you take the other knot and do the same. Back over, back around, and there you go. Then you pull them together, snug them up, and there you have it. Now you've got two pieces of line taut together. There you have it. That's the fisherman's knot. All right, folks, that's going to about wrap it up for today. I'd like to thank you all for watching. I hope this was helpful for you. If you like what you saw, please give us a big thumbs up, share, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. Now, I will be providing a link below, in this case just for the carabiner that I used earlier on in this video. I always like to at least include one link. And by the way, we are Amazon affiliates, so any purchases made through those links that we have provided below, it kind of helps us out because Amazon does throw in a little bit of a commission for us. Now, just so you know, all that does is it'll direct you right to Amazon. You can shop through Amazon for anything that you like. If they just throw in a little bit of a commission for us, it does not affect your price whatsoever. That's how we sponsor the channel, okay? So anyway, I want to thank you all once again for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.